everyone, and welcome to Studio Dialogues. Today we have with us a wonderful watercolor artist, Nitin Singh, based out of my own city, Bangalore. He has received many awards for his work. He is also an art educator via YouTube and Patreon, and he has a massive following. So let's get talking with Nitin. But before we start, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel for many art related videos. Hi, Nitin.
Hi,
Yeah, thank you for coming on Studio Dialogues.
thank you so much for inviting me for this discussion. And
You're
this
welcome.
my pleasure to have this discussion.
Great. Yeah. So because in the time of the pandemic, I was sitting in my little corner studio and thinking about, how our social connect is totally gone. And you can talk to people on Zoom or on the phone, but so I was really missing the art connection I had with so many people, meeting
Hmm.
them in
True.
camps or going for plein air. So I thought, why not start these dialogues with people? Also, the aim of these dialogues is to also help a lot of people who are upcoming in art, who are
Hmm.
beginning.
Yeah,
It's nice to hear from other people who have been through, the whole struggle or the whole process of
right,
learning,
right.
and maybe it'll help someone. So, you know,
Absolutely, yeah. I think that's a great move. Probably this is the area where the people will get to know more about, especially the watercolor. So watercolor is a medium where there's a lot of the discussions need to happen uh, to just ease out some of those the frustration, especially the beginners has. So it's a good that you brought this point. Yeah.
so Nitin, first we'll start with your background.
Mhm.
When did you start painting or sketching or get into art? Early childhood or college? So little bit about yourself and your
Uh,
education.
so yeah, and so basically somebody says, this guys came with the God gift, kind of,
Okay.
a lot of people say that still, right? Um, I mean, some people believe in it, some people don't. I personally don't feel that way, but yeah, this is something like from the childhood itself. You feel like okay, your passion from your childhood itself. The passion is like more into that art, creating
Yes.
art rather than just going, so even if you look at the kids around you, some of the kids you will find like they'll always be stick around with the color and the pastel and all that. So yeah, this is how it started my childhood. um, and uh, and most importantly, like my parents has really supported me. And in a very early stage, my childhood stage, they just realized that I have some potential and I'm very much fond of art, you know. So that is something like led me to, follow my passion, supporting my family, because I feel that is something like it's very important, especially those days, where every parents wanted their kids to be an engineer and doctor.
Yes. We all understand that.
Yeah, and I was just very much even in my school and all. So I was doing a lot of art, participating in the art and all. I pursued my graduation in fine arts, so that's where it started. I've taken the fine art as a stream.
Okay.
Specifically to watercolor, it all started. It started in my college days when I saw some of my seniors are making watercolor art. There's a lot of medium, right? So you have some very interesting mediums to work on, but specifically that watercolor, that medium, the transparency of that medium, it's right. It's appealed me, and I still remember how tough it was, to even introduce yourself to the watercolors. It's like the characteristic of this watercolor is like it's blown away. So yeah, the beauty of the watercolor and its effect and all that, that's actually that actually grabbed my attention, and I felt like okay, this is where you wanted to move on. Basically in 97, 98, I started making art in 97, 98. uh, uh, So yeah, it all started from there, and it's over the time it's got a lot of phase. There wasn't a phase where I couldn't paint. I was completely out of the art world,
Okay.
uh, you know, for around 12 year. So so 12 year I couldn't paint watercolor, and even today a lot of people say like, okay, you didn't paint 12 year and suddenly you have started. I picked up in around 2015,
Okay.
and I worked so hard, and yeah, that given me some visibility, in that space. So yeah,
Yeah. So
that's
you
how.
moved to Bangalore around that time, I think, right? 2015 or so.
Yeah, in 2002 I moved here in Bangalore.
Oh,
So
2002 is it?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Oh,
2002 I moved here.
I
So
also, because for me also, I also moved to Bangalore in 2002. That's coincidence.
oh wow, that's that's beautiful. So yeah, that time the Bangalore was slightly in a different
Yes.
world that time. But
I
yeah,
wish I painted in watercolor then because, you'd have had such clean, traffic-less streets.
true. Yeah,
Things have
but
changed.
yeah, but unfortunately, I mean, so at that point of time, I couldn't work much, and I'm just still, I'm feeling bad about it. But yeah, I mean, um, I'm just trying to capture as much as possible the older Bangalore, the essence of that time. So I'm just trying to capture, some of
Yeah,
my, a series of my work. So
I see.
yeah, yeah,
Excellent. Yeah, that's a great thing because a lot of the old buildings might go and
yeah.
uh, they're all taken over now with the new
Hmm.
construction. Yeah.
True. Yeah.
Nitin, you teach a lot, right? You're teaching your students offline as well as online.
Hmm.
And you also, are amazing on YouTube. Like, I think yesterday I was looking at your channel. It's 88.8. Today it's 88.9 thousand subscribers, which is excellent. Like, it's because obviously people love your work, love
Hmm.
your videos. So there is something you're doing right about teaching, and I think you're also on Patreon now,
Hmm.
right? And Skillshare. So, what has your experience been with teaching? Like, what are the top tips you would give to beginners
Hmm.
on how to maybe approach their watercolor in terms of learning from maybe even from conceptualizing to an idea, a sketch to a composition to actually going through a painting. What are your top tips? Because you've
Hmm.
seen so many students now, the
Yeah, yeah.
common struggles they have, and
True. See, your very first question was like, how I started, teaching. So I think, to me, I personally believe that if you have some skill, then you must have to have shared them with the world and whoever is need them. And that's a way you are actually contributing to the society, contributing to your own growth, and contributing and adding some value to those
absolutely.
people who are really looking forward to to paint something, not only in this stream but probably in any domain, let's say, right? So if you're creating that, if you are adding a value to someone else,
Yeah.
then then actually you're doing something which will be appreciated. Yeah, and that is the kind of intent I had, because I just thought like, I have some skill, and if I'll just keep it with me, then it's not worth, right? So whatever I know, I mean, I'm not saying, and I know, I know everything. I'm still learning, and I'm just trying to learn more and more, right? So, but whatever I know, I just thought, like, uh, let me just share this to the world, and with that intent, I have created this YouTube channel.
Yeah.
At that point of time, I don't had any intent, and still I don't look at how many subscriber I have and all that. That is more like, I've never, honestly, I never care about the number of subscriber and all that. It's good that the people are joining me, and they are joining me because of the reason, they see the value, and they see value, to being part of this channel. So yeah, that's the only thing I've started. And then I've started, Skillshare. I see a lot of people are coming forward to support my art. They when I move into the Patreon, so they felt like, and I'm adding value to the value to those to these people. So it's a very small contribution to a creator, and that's, I think it's Patreon is a beautiful platform for any creative people
I see.
who's doing something with their own term, right? So that is the kind of a platform so we have today, and there is a limitless possibilities if you are adding a value, if you are making things happening, to someone else's life, then people don't hesitate to come forward and support you what you love, right? And that's been happening. So your another question was what is the like my tips to the beginner. So I haven't decided several tips. I've given all of them in my YouTube channel.
Yes, that's true. So
But
my question is
uh,
not about, paper,
mm,
material, or whatever. It's more about how to plan your learning.
mhm,
It's something which most people kind of sometimes go in circles, or
mhm,
they don't plan their work well enough, and then they get
mhm,
frustrated with watercolor. So what are the like steps? I'm just wondering whether one should pick a good subject, then plan a good sketch. Next stage would be to plan the color palette, whatever. So what would you say to a beginner that these are the mandatory things you should go through before you start painting
mhm.
something?
Yeah. So even if you look at my, any of my content anywhere in the web, I always tell like you just take your own way to learn the things. There is no any right and a wrong way. Uh, and I always talk about what I have experienced and what really helped me. And that's only I just teach. I don't teach anything which is already been, established or whatever. I'm just sharing the fact. I'm just sharing the fact which helped me, which helped me to learn and grow with the watercolor. Initial 2 year, I was just doing pencil sketch, all the strokes, and 2 year, and we none of the students were supposed to touch the color at all. So it's a rigorous training to do a lot of sketch, to learn how so we used to go outside, and just do a lot of sketch. And we were counting the sketch not in the paper, we are counting in the like kgs. Okay, so in this 1 week we have sketched 4 kg of sketches, 4 kgs of, and we are buying the bulk of those sketch, the paper and the pencil and all. And we were just, I mean, those days were amazing. If you ask me for, especially for the beginner to learn, that is something like today's beginners are missing, because I've seen a lot of them, they just go and start picking the brush and the color, and they start doing the watercolor. That is very tough. Basically, it's not advisable. At least from my perspective, I would say, if you wanted to do it and if you wanted to learn watercolor, in a better way, then you have to do a lot of sketch, do composition, understand the depth and how the light works. So all of those aspect of it, you should learn. So this is how basically, so the very first step what you need to do is you just go and make a lot of a sketch or drawing, still life is then another example. So those things you can just make it, and then gradually you just go to watercoloring and understand, do all the basic and all. uh, Again, the second thing I would say, a lot of people, especially the beginners, they are very much, spending so much of time only on the basic. And they say like, okay, I'm learning the basics, I'm learning the basic. And they're just so fond of the basics, so they really don't want to come out from the basics. Sometimes you need to just break that boundary, just go and be explore, do exploration, just make something and just throw it away. That, and that instance, just throwing, the day you will learn how to make a bad art and just throw it away. Okay, that is something like it, and that's the biggest and very, a sweet, uh, the the fundamentals relies on the watercolor. So if you started making a lot of art and just no expectation that I'm just going to make something very nice art and all, you just go make something, throw it away, do something, whatever it is, learn something, throw it away, start throwing your work. So, and that actually gives you a lot of confidence. So the confidence is something like, you'll have an after a few months doing this. Yeah. You just go in you just see in any of these especially in the YouTube channel or Instagram, let's say for example, and see the comments. What is the brush you are using? What is the gsm of the paper you are using? What is the brand of that paper? And that really irritated me. I mean, that is not at all, it's not at all importance to you. What really importance is to build your ability to paint good. These brushes or the papers are the one, just a medium. It just allow you to do something on it, but don't just rely on that to buying very fancy and expensive things and all that. What you need to do is just understand, I one a simple chart paper, one simple chart paper will give you a more and more, the flexibility to learn this, which will cost you merely 10 rupees of that.
So, Nitin, tell me a little bit about your YouTube experience. I know you've been now on YouTube for how many years?
uh, I think I started 2015, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, 15, 16, I
So
believe.
it's
Yeah.
been a while. So one, can you give us some tips on how, to stay consistent? Because if you are sharing knowledge, then people would like someone who shows up consistently,
Yeah.
who's giving value, and then only you can share really when people are there to share with.
You are asking this question to the wrong person.
No, my question is,
Uh,
it's actually connected to how one can discipline and have a mindset of being consistent, and
mhm,
how you can set goals in terms of, not in terms of where you want to get or anything, but
mm,
in terms of how you can produce content which is shareable, and which you can share with people on YouTube, for
yeah.
instance.
Yeah, I can tell you that fundamental, but let me just be very clear here. I'm not a YouTuber, and I don't have any intent to be a YouTuber. It's just, it's just a matter to bring my work to the world, and I felt that this is the right this is the right platform to do that. Yeah, if you talk about my experience, creating my channel and publishing my content and all. So yeah, I mean, so there are some of the the mandatory aspect of it you must need to do. Uh, the important part is like when you creating on a YouTube channel, the very first thing is like you really need to understand what is important and who's your audience are and what is their requirement, what they are looking for. uh, and if they are looking for to learn watercolor basic, then you have to create that basic watercolor experience for them. So yeah, it's all depends on like how you categorizing that, how diligent you are, and how you are to me, I would say it's like being you. It's a being you, what you are. Just don't portray yourself what exactly you are not. And if you are so sincere, and if you are sincerely, you're saying, okay, I know this, and I can teach you only this. Tell them, and with all effort and sincerity. If you just put your content there, the people who really looking to see those content will come back to you. They will see that video. They'll see the value, and this is how you grow in any aspect, right? The YouTube channel is the one of the instance, right? So so yeah, so the being a valuable, being valuable to someone else is is important. And if people find it, your content is valuable for them, they will anyway they'll find it. Even if you are not putting your content in a regular basis, no matter, the people will email you. The people will email you and they'll say, hey, I haven't got last 3 4 months. I think more than 4 months, I haven't uploaded even a single video in YouTube. I haven't uploaded. So there was a reason, and it's not like other people don't like to see that, and the people who want to see that, I'm just getting around 50 email every single day, in my inbox, and I see the how the people are loving it, and the people are so much of concern about why Nitin is not uploading the videos, and a lot of messages in my Instagram feed. They're saying, and Nitin, I really want to see your videos. Yeah, so that kind of the trust, if you are building into a channel, okay. And I'm through through this interview, I wanted to let all my viewers know that uh, I'm just going to make some great videos very soon.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
I love that you're saying this on my interview.
Yeah, I'm going to make this because I'm just coming with a absolutely in a different manner, in a different temperament, and you will see absolutely in a different you know it also all sort of a different experience for you. So just give me a little more time.
You can take all the time if you're coming up with something interesting.
Yeah, no, that's important because I have created that trust, and I need to let them know, okay, I'm here, I'm still here, and I'm just going to continue adding value to their art journey. So yeah.
Do you have any tips on how to balance, in-person teaching or online teaching with all of your recorded sessions, or
Mhm.
your creating courses or content for other people? Especially on Patreon, you have to be, I think, probably quite regular with giving content to your,
Yeah.
uh, you know. So I guess part of it is working day, having a daily practice of like pretty rigorous watercolor painting, but
Mhm.
it must be coming out of that. But also any tips on how to organize yourselves and how to approach it?
Uh, yeah. So basically, when you are being a part of platform like a Patreon, uh, then consistently you need to let the content continuously flow, so the user will never get any break. So it's very important to let them know if there is, for some reason, if you are not able to upload any videos for them or any tutorial which you have committed. If you're not, let them know prior. That's the one aspect. And it's important to organize. It's important to organize the schedule of your all the videos and the tutorials you are doing, whether you are doing in a YouTube, or in a Patreon or any other platform, let's say for Skillshare or Udemy and all that. So it's very important to be a consistent. At least I would say, let's take an example of YouTube. In a YouTube, probably in a week, probably couple of video you should upload at least two video you have, and just give them, if you are very much specific, then just give them this day and a time you will see. So that way the your audience so will be assured that, okay, for for next week, for this day and this time, I'll be getting a new content from the from the creator. So in this way, so you're just adding, you're just telling very explicitly, like, you know the similarly, it happens in a skills area, like in every month I'm going to upload a new course. So yeah, in a Patreon, probably in every week I'm once or two content I'm going to upload. So this is how basically you need to organize. It all depends on the person, how much effort and the time they're spending on it. If you are in 100% doing things, especially the source of flow, then you'll have to commit a lot. Uh, but
Also,
from
because on Patreon, you would be probably giving your Patreons exclusive content, which you might not be putting elsewhere.
Yeah. So Patreon content will always be an exclusive. It will be always be exclusive based on the tire group. So let's say if the tire group is $10 or $100, so $100 tire group will see only those content which is not accessible to the other tire group, or from the YouTube, the viewers they're not able to see. So that's the kind of the marketing strategy, which is absolutely the artist is in nowhere and they're very poor doing all of that. So yeah, so that's the thing.
So it just struck me: are there any interesting books for as a watercolorist and as a human being that
Mm.
you would recommend if you have something which comes to mind?
So basically what happened is in today's world, as I said, there is unlimited opportunities everywhere. The only thing is most of the artists they don't know where those opportunities are. It's not just about making art. Now an artist need to know and learn how to market yourself, how to market your art, how to because you just can't depend on the galleries, and galleries has their own preference, their own set of the customer base. For this context, I would say there is a one very interesting book called How to Sell Your Art. So this is amazing book. This is amazing. But I just William, I just forgot the author name, some William. See the various art galleries, what is the contemporary arts are, what all the kind of the art is being sold. Saatchi Art, another one. So Saatchi Art, something like, and I sell my art there very frequently. So it's an online platform where you can just go and sell your art. So it's a kind of a commissioning thing. So that's a beautiful thing. So you're there, you are not going to any galleries, you are just creating art, and actually you're surviving. You're actually you're selling your art, and there are several way where you can just make yourself completely visible, because it's more like a the people. It's not like the people don't want to buy the art. Every people, they want to buy art, but the thing is, like, when they have decided to buy art, are your art is visible to them. So that's a very fine-tuned collaboration, or the kind of the approach every artist should know. If someone is looking for a specific art, let's say for my watercolor, somebody says, okay, I want to buy one watercolor for my hall, which is having a this and so, width and height, which will gel with my interior and all that. So when they are planning to search that art, probably what is the possibilities of that? They will just go and search in the Google or any other search platform. When they search on the web. They are not searching on you know offline. They are not saying, oh, Nitin there in Bangalore, until unless he knows me. But in that way, instead, the globally, in this entire global, I mean, all over the world, if someone searching for a watercolor art, your art should be available to them. That is different case, like whether that meets their expectation, and this is how they are visualized to have that piece of art in their home. That's a different thing, but at least it should be visible to them, right? And how it will be visible, that is something like every artist should know how. So first thing, like, you need to have this at least one website. You need to create a lot of blogs, write your blogs, talk about your art, your process, how you do it. So today is like an ultimate, and that's what I'm just keep saying in all my videos. I'm saying there is a unlimited possibilities, for the artist today. The only thing is, like, we should know how to tap that opportunity, how to uh, you know uh, how to know that, and how I should be visible to them.
So that is the thing. That's one of the things I wanted to discuss with you. What are the ways
Mhm.
that one can educate oneself more on this by reading blogs or any recommendations on something one can, uh, learn from?
There is a lot of content there and
Mhm.
across the web in a YouTube channel itself. If you'll just if you'll just search the term, right? So how to market, how to artist market themselves, and any other things. So
Yeah.
you'll see like 100 of those content, and just don't get bored of those content. Just learn, just see, just
Mm.
go through that and try to understand what that specific person is saying at and that will give you some idea. This is how everybody grows. There is a lot of course there, you know. You can just take an example of the Skillshare, Udemy, those places where you can just go and just search those things. And most importantly, even though if you've just seen that or you have taken that course, the most important part is the execution, because the learning by doing is something like different, and
Absolutely.
it takes you the immediate effect. So that is something like they experience something, and from that experience what you have learned, that will never go away from that. These courses will probably, it will go away from some point, but self learning, this self it's like the getting the experience, exactly doing something, and if you're learning from those mistakes and all. I've seen that a lot of people, they just think, they say every
Yeah.
week they'll say, every month they'll say, okay, Nitin, I'm just thinking about to create my website. And so, okay, yeah, that's a good idea you have.
Yes.
Next month when I met with the same person, they said, okay, I'm still thinking because I wanted to have this website in this way. Okay, all right.
Yes,
And
I know
third
what you're
month,
saying.
I want, and that is something like, so if you have something in your mind, okay, just go and do it,
Don't
whatever.
procrastinate. Just go and do it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Just go and do it, whatever you have. In my point of view, the goal happens only when you're passionate about that. If you are setting a goal which you're really not passionate, it's just you're doing because there is some goal which you're not really passionate about. So that is not going to drive for a long. Okay, if you're passionate about to create art, to learn watercolor, and if you are really passionate about that goal anyway, you really don't need to set any goal. That goal will anyway achieve, anyway will you will achieve it. uh, be very careful when you are setting your goals, and always align your goal to your passion. And if you see there is any second thought about your goals and your passion is not aligned with that, just don't wait, you are just going to waste your time.
It's so true. Excellently put. And very honestly put. I mean, this is it, face it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, because ultimately you are going to spend time on it. So if it is not worth, yeah.
Great. So, Nitin, thanks so much for sharing so much, but I'd like to know a little bit more about you now, about your family.
I don't know. I'm kind of a very boring guy.
No, I don't think so. Not after this conversation.
Uh, yeah, I mean, I love talking with the people. That's the most important thing, because I love to communicate with the people, especially in a art, in a art, wherever the art discussion happen. Before this pandemic, it was like every week, especially in the weekends. I used to see and I used to get a call from the people, I wanted to meet Nitin, I wanted to have it. I'll say, welcome anyway, just come, please come and have. So that was like an every weekend, I used to have, I used to talk with the people, and I've never met them before. So basically, and they all came to know through various, the social channel like Facebook or YouTube channel, or from my YouTube. You are also the one, right? So this is how basically, so we learn from each other, and if and that's the only thing I see the value. So one is that. The second is like I'm very passionate about to to go outside and make a real time the art. So I used to do a lot. So unfortunately, from past 1 year, I'm not able to do it. But yeah, I mean, I used to go a little outskirt of Bangalore, or even if I'm not in a Bangalore, wherever I am, I used to create those plein air painting. So that's what I'm very passionate about, and through them there is a one new channel emerged. There are several enthusiastic people, a lot of curiosity around. The people will get to know about you, your work, why you're doing it. So a lot of communication channels emerge there. So that's the another way. I just keep myself happy. uh, I have a very small family, my wife and one my kid. So yeah. Yeah.
How old is
So
you have a son, right?
yeah, I have a son. He's 3 year old now.
It's
Yeah.
3 years old only. Okay, he's
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
young. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Nitin, for sharing whatever you wanted. You have
Pleasure.
shared with me your thoughts, your tips, and I think you spoke very honestly about your process and about what you think people should do. So I think it will benefit people who listen to this. So thank you so much,
Absolutely.
Nitin.
Absolutely. Yeah. Bye bye.
Bye. That was a very insightful conversation with Nitin Singh. He spoke about his journey into watercolors and how he started teaching to share what he knows. He gave many tips on how important it is to make your art visible to buyers and how to approach selling your art. Hope you enjoyed this video. Press like if you did and subscribe to stay in the loop. Bye for now.